back to my channel. My name is Melissa, and today we're going to be diving into my whole IUD experience. So I'll be explaining what the IUD is for those of you who don't already know. And I also am going to give a disclaimer here. If you are a male, please proceed with this video with caution, because the main topic of this video is going to handle around female problems and problems with the reproductive organs of the female. If you only want to watch this video for like educational purposes, or if your girlfriend or wife or someone you know is struggling with this, then you might want to watch it, but I don't think most men would want to watch this video in general. So today I'm targeting more of the female audience. I really didn't think I'll be talking about this on my channel, but I just decided, I'm just gonna do it. So yeah, we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty of everything to do with the IUD today. So it's gonna get a little TMI, so just proceed with caution. And yeah, I am gonna try to keep this video as educational as I can. And also another disclaimer here, every female body is different, so if you reacted differently with the IUD, that's totally fine. Just watch this for educational or entertainment purposes, because every female does react differently to all sorts of birth control. I will also be talking about my history with other birth control methods, so I did not always use just the IUD. So all female bodies are different, like I said, and everyone reacts differently. Very few people actually get the very severe negative side effects of the IUD like I did, but I have heard of some women that have experienced similar symptoms than I have. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that today. But yeah, like I said, if you don't have the same experiences, that's totally fine. This video isn't there to scare anyone, it's just sharing my experiences with you guys and people who are maybe thinking of getting an IUD, because the doctors don't always, tell you all of the side effects. They usually just tell you the lesser, more minor side effects. But, as for the more severe side effects, they oftentimes do not tell you everything. And I mean, they can't really list every sort of side effect that you can possibly experience, because like I said, every woman is different, and some women only experience headaches or something, where other women actually have so much pain they can't function. So it's really very different for every person. But yeah, we're gonna get into it today. So for those of you who don't know what an IUD is an in utero birth control device that is implanted directly into the uterus. I'll try to add a picture around here somewhere so that you guys can see what it looks like. But I also have one here. This was actually the one that I had in. I did sterilize and clean this thoroughly, so it is clean, don't worry. But I do intend of keeping this. I am thinking about leaving this as an offering for my deity for helping and supporting me through this. But as you can see, it's a really tiny little thing, but it's like rubber, it's really bendy, and it has these strings, so it's a really tiny little device. And it's hard to think that this little thing caused the number of problems that it did. But yeah, I had this thing in for around 2 years. I got this in on the 20th March 2020, right before COVID hit. So I got this in 2020. So I was supposed to go for a checkup after the insertion of the IUD, I think a month or so after it was inserted. But due to COVID arising just after I got it, unfortunately my checkup was cancelled. And a couple of months after that, the doctor that I was at, he retired. So now I'm without a doctor and, didn't wait for my checkup, anything like that. So the first couple of months was okay-ish. I had a lot of pain, but it wasn't really, I couldn't really discern whether it was the IUD, because I had a Bartholin cyst removal as well with the insertion of the IUD. So I had the pain of that operation, so I didn't know that if the IUD was okay or not, because I couldn't discern between the pain of the IUD and the pain of the cyst removal. For those of you who don't know what the Bartholin cyst is, it's basically just this lump in your lady parts that causes a lot of discomfort, and it has a lot to do with the reproductive organs. It runs in my family, unfortunately. My mom had it, my grandma had it. I was actually a bit young when I got mine because I was like 17 when it started developing, and I had it removed when I was 20. So yeah, I was a bit young to actually get it removed, and in those years that I struggled with the cyst as well, like certain birth control can also help along the development of certain cysts and things. So I don't know if my birth control maybe affected the cyst in such a way that I got it so young, because they did tell me I was a bit young to struggle with this already, you know, at my age. It was a very uncomfortable thing to have. It started out the size of a pea and it grew to the size of like a golf ball, and that was just, it was very, very painful. So I had to get it removed, and I decided to get the IUD inserted. It was not my first method of birth control. I was on birth control ever since I was 10 years old. That's when I had puberty, and unfortunately I was one of those females who had very heavy bleeding. I had very severe cramping, and I literally bled so much that I would put on 2 pads. It would be, you know, that complete long one that you get, like the ultra long night pads that I would wear, and it was the thick one too, and I wear 2 of them with 2 panties and sometimes a short with another pants on top, and I would bleed through all of that in a matter of a couple of hours. So I could not function to go to school in my condition. So I was at school like twice, and it just didn't work out. I did call my mom to come and get me, and then she just like kept me home once or twice, but unfortunately, you know, I can't stay home every month for a week around the same time because people would talk, and unfortunately there's not enough support for females during this time, you know, in schools and stuff. You know, if you're like, raise your hand, you want to go to the bathroom, it's like, oh no, it was just recess, or, you know, you can't go right now. Sometimes we have urgent needs that needs to be taken care of, and if we don't go take care of it, it causes a lot of awkwardness and maybe even possible embarrassment if you happen to bleed through all of your garments. So what I later did at school is I would take my my sweater and bind it around my waist. Now all of the teachers and everything, they told me that, you know, it's not in the dress code, we're not allowed to wear our sweaters like that. And obviously I was the shy kid, so I didn't really think about, you know, telling them the truth, pulling them aside. There was just a lot of lack of empathy for females going through problems. So eventually, you know, I couldn't function like this anymore. My mom took me to my doctor, my GP, and he prescribed me birth control, the pill. So I was on Melodine for the longest time. I must admit, with the Melodine, I did not have that many side effects at all. I did pick up weight. I did pick up a significant amount of weight, and that's another thing most doctors won't tell you with birth control, is it can affect your weight because it directly handles with your hormones, and females store their hormones in the form of fat cells. For those of you who didn't know, you store your estrogen in the form of fat, and that usually packs around your waist and your hips and your butt. So females do store their hormones in the form of fat. So that is why certain birth controls gives you weight gain. So I did pick up weight. Further than that, like I said, I don't really have much side effects. There was, you know, a couple of minor things, you know, like nausea and stuff, occasionally a little bit of dizziness, but nothing too major. So then later my dad lost his job. I was around, I was around 16, and we couldn't afford the birth control pill I was on anymore, so we went to the clinic. They give cheaper birth control because I only get 1 month of supply, and you know, the birth control pills at the clinic, they give you 3 months supply, and it's less the price than I pay for 1 month supply. The one they give you is Trifacil or Trigestrol, and those pills, I went on them. I was on it for it was not even a year. I think it was around 8 months or so. Oh, I had a lot of side effects. I had hair loss, acne, nausea, dizziness, moodiness, irritability. And yes, birth control does affect your mood also greatly. And some of us underestimate just how much. So yeah, I was on that for a while, had horrible side effects, also had a lot of cramping. But yeah, eventually I just went off of that. I was clean for a few months and then I went back on the Melodine until I eventually got the IUD in 2020. So the Melodine, like I said, I didn't experience that much. Also with the trifacial, I did also experience excessive weight gain with that too. Every time I switch my birth control, I tend to pick up weight. And it's not a little bit. It's not just a little bit, you know, it's usually quite a significant amount of weight that I pick up. And I mean, in school I was always bullied for my weight. Half of it wasn't even my fault. I mean, I don't eat that unhealthy, and I tried to watch my weight. I tried to exercise as much as I can, but you know, sometimes you just don't feel up to doing exercise, and that's totally fine. I'm not a gym fanatic or anything like that, but I do try to keep my weight under control. So yeah, I got the IUD in 2020. It was a little hard to notice where the pain was coming from. Eventually the cyst healed completely, and then I started noticing the things with the IUD. I also experienced hair loss, excessive weight gain, dizziness, massive headaches. I now suffer from chronic migraines, which is, it's like cluster migraines. I like get them, it's like here at the back of your head, and it feels like someone's like hitting you like at the back of your head repetitively, and that's how bad the freaking migraines are. It's just so freaking bad. And yeah, I also like had very bad anxiety and depression, and I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety in 2017 while I was on the trifacial. So I don't know if that is maybe a direct result of that, but in the examination of my depression and anxiety, usually if someone has depression, they have a lack of serotonin in your brain. But they took MRI scans and EEG scans, and they took a bunch of other tests, and they concluded that it's not a physical thing, you know, it has to be an emotional thing that I have depression and anxiety, because it's not physical. There's not a lack of serotonin in my brain, so it was derived from something else. Now back then, I didn't really think about telling the doctor, hey, I'm on birth control or whatever. Couldn't that maybe be why I'm experiencing this? I didn't really click at the time that that's what it was. Yeah, with the IUD, it gave me severe anxiety and depression to the point that I got panic attacks and stuff so bad, and I even got some blackouts, and that with the cluster migraines mimicked the symptoms of epilepsy. I was in the hospital for, I think it was around a week that I was in the hospital, because I got a panic attack or something. We literally thought I was getting epileptic seizures. That is what it was appearing to be. So I went to the hospital, and everything came back normal. My MRI, my EEG, nothing wrong with me. I don't have epilepsy. So, you know, I was getting these seizures they couldn't really find any cause of. They couldn't find any cause for these seizures, and it was starting to freak me out. And on top of that, I was having so much side effects with the IUD. I was having like nausea, headaches, I was having the acne, hair loss, weight gain, irritability, moodiness, the depression, anxiety. I also had a lot of dizzy spells, you know, even memory loss. My memory was very foggy, and I used to have a really good memory, and now my memory is like all over the place, and you know, sometimes I repeat myself a lot, but you know, my memory is just a little messed up. I'm doing a lot of exercises to try and, you know, get my memory back to where it was. But yeah, the IUD, and also the number one side effect that was the absolute worst for me was the period cramps. It was the worst. I literally felt like, I mean, I've never had children, but it felt like contraction pains. It felt like I was giving birth every month. That is what it felt like. I mean, I could just imagine what being in labor must feel like. If I was experiencing pain, that I could just imagine. If people tell me it couldn't be that bad. The pain was so bad, I would stand up straight. I will be in the kitchen pouring myself a glass of cold drink or whatever, making myself coffee or whatever, and I would get the cramp. It will be so bad that I would literally just fall to the ground. I couldn't get up, I couldn't move, I just fell to the ground, and I started crying half the time because the pain was just so bad. A couple of times I screamed into my pillow because I didn't want to wake up the entire house, and I was just in so much pain. I cried and I cried just It was really bad. And I have a really high pain tolerance as well, so for me to be in that much pain, I was living off painkillers for almost 2 years because of all of this. Luckily, I didn't form any addiction. I don't have an addictive personality, so I'm not addicted to painkillers. Since the ID was taken out, I've drinking pain medication twice, and that was for headaches because I switched my birth control again. I am currently on the injection. Now, first moment I took out the IUD, I felt so much better. I've not felt depressed ever since, and I felt relatively okay. I haven't gotten a massive panic attack or a massive breakdown or anything since. I've gotten a little bit of moodiness and irritability, but I'm just assuming that's because of the injection, because I just switched. My system is flushed with hormones at the moment, so I'm just assuming that's what it is. I've also had a bit of nausea, and I had headaches twice. It was really bad, so I had to take painkillers both times. But further than that, I haven't drunken pain medication since. The cramping is significantly better. So yeah, it's just I'm bleeding a little bit more now, but they said that with the injection it might go away too. But then again, that's what they said about the IUD, and I still had full-on periods every month, even though they said it was going to go away, so I'll believe it the day that it actually happens. But yeah, I'm just glad this thing's out. This thing caused me so much discomfort, and that is also why I'm really struggling to film content for you guys, because I'm struggling so much with my mental health and with my physical health because of these birth control methods that I have to partake in. The original reason why I started going on birth control was because I had pretty heavy periods, like I explained, so I had to be on that to regulate my periods. But now that I'm 21 years old, you know, we don't want children at all, so yeah, I'm engaged. We don't want kids, so I'm just being extra safe and taking every precaution that I can. But also, like, the IUD is amongst one of the most effective birth controls, so if you're looking to get it, you know, it does seem really great, but, you know, if you're not experiencing any side effects, that is. I've also noticed that most females having these excessive pain with the IUD is females who have not given birth to a child before. Females who have given birth, they are less likely to have any pain associated with the IUD. I don't know why it is. It's probably because the way the uterus is shaped. I'm not 100% on that. I'm not a doctor. So yeah, this is just my experience and what I've noticed with birth control. And I really think it sucks, you know? Females have like endless possibilities when it comes to birth control. You have the pill, the injection, but in each of those have like 50 types of different pills you can take. It has different types of injections you can take. But when it comes to men, they have very few methods of birth control at all. All they have is basically the condom is the only invention, or they can just go for a full-on vasectomy, but that's all that men have to prevent birth control. I've heard a rumor that they are starting to work on male birth control. So we're hoping that that's going to be a thing in the future, because I don't know why females always have to suffer the most when it comes to their bodies, okay? I'm not talking about mental and emotional things right now, because men suffer a lot emotionally and mentally. Because people think that men are supposed to be strong and, you know, they're not allowed to cry or show any emotion or anything like that. But men do need to cry sometimes, and they do need to let their emotions out just as much as any person. But there's a lot of unfairness between the sexes lately, and I know lately that there's more than just two, which is really confusing, because a few years ago there was just two sexes, and now there's all of the varieties. I don't really know what to make of half of it. I don't understand half of it, so I don't comment on it. I just stay out of it. I don't get involved with it. But just men in general, you know, females tend to bully men more emotionally and psychologically. That's where men struggle, because they want equality, but none of the sexes are equal at all, because everyone pushes each other down in one form or the other. And with men, you know, they struggle with things too. And, you know, because they're men, that it gets disregarded. Their feelings and stuff just gets disregarded. But when you're a female, you have to suffer like physically, because you have to look a certain way, you have to be a certain way, and you have to suffer with birth control if you don't want kids, or if you want to have kids, you have to sacrifice your body to make children. So it's just like all of this stuff that's going on. Like, I just want everyone to know one thing is, like, you have a choice. You always have a choice. Don't let anyone tell you that you need to do something a certain way. Don't let someone tell you that you need to take the IUD because it's more effective than the pill and the injection. The injection is more effective than the pill, and the IUD is more effective than both. But again, take the side effects into account. Which one gives you fewest side effects? And take that. Do what's best for your body. Another thing that I've noticed about birth control that I quickly want to mention is cancer. But cancer, there's nothing in particular that can cause cancer. Cancer is something that's already inside of all of us. But sadly, a lot of birth controls have a warning sign on them that it might give you cancers in your reproductive organs or breast cancer. The injection, I must say, there's a lot of less risk of getting any reproductive organ cancers, but it is still likely for you to develop breast cancer. And with me, it kind of runs a little bit in my family. There was a couple of people in my family who did unfortunately get breast cancer. Some of them died, some of them just had to get their breasts amputated. And it's a scary thing, but you know, we have to talk about cancer because it's such a big thing. And like I said, birth control has a possible risk of causing it. So if you have severe risks of something in your family, then maybe just, you know, try to be a little bit more picky with your birth control. And also, I've heard that, you know, if you have osteoporosis, or if someone in your family has osteoporosis, then you should be very cautious when taking the injection. And also, long-term use of the injection can possibly cause things like osteoporosis if you're using it longer than 2 years. And I also heard about a couple of females that is like family friends and stuff that were on the injection that struggled with fertility after the injection. So some females have that unlikely side effect. It's very rare to happen. Sometimes when you stop using the injection, you are less likely to get pregnant even after use if you had a very long-term use of the injection. Say, for example, you've been on it for like 5-6 years. You might struggle to get pregnant after that, but there are treatments that exist to help you with that if that is something you desire. Me, on the other hand, I never want kids at all. Just a ton of reasons why. You know, there's just disabilities and things that runs in my family, and you know, with my own health conditions and stuff, I just don't want kids at all. So it's something me and my fiance talked about a lot, and luckily he feels the same way, so I guess we're a great match. So yeah, this is basically what I wanted to talk about today, but I just wanted to talk about the IUD, especially because I had such bad experience with it. I had so much pain with the IUD, and it was awful. It was just so bad. I always had pain. Nothing was great anymore with the IUD. Everything, I just felt so dark. I mean, the depression alone was enough to, you know, I mean, I've been suicidal before, but with the IUD, that the risk of it just, it was really bad. I thought about things that I shouldn't be thinking about a lot, and I also want to raise awareness for mental health, and especially suicide, because it's a really serious thing, and especially now with all of this COVID and illnesses, everyone losing loved ones, and you know, just the world as it is at the moment is just, a lot of people are suffering from depression. And also with the holiday seasons now coming up, you know, a lot of people get depressed during the holidays for good reasons, and I just want to encourage you guys to go check out my film channel. I have 2 videos, 2 short films on there that was created to raise awareness for self-harm, suicide, and mental illnesses and mental health in general. The first one's name is The Sad Summer's Day. That one is excellent. I really recommend it. And the other one is The Thing in the Closet. That one was a little bit more experimental on my part, but still it was created for a good purpose, so go check it out. You know, just we have to take care of our mental health. And if you ever like need to talk about your problems, find someone to talk to. So the last thing I want to mention is some of my services that I offer. For those of you who don't follow me on my other medias, you might not have seen yet, but I am doing private readings again. I'm also doing pendulum and magic 8-ball readings, and I'm also offering a couple of services. I offer spiritual mentoring and also trauma healing, which focuses a little bit more on the psychological aspects of a person's psyche and mind, rather than the more mystical and spiritual means that I usually work with. So it is a little bit more on the psychological side of things, so definitely go check out my services. You can find listings for my services on my Facebook page, my TikTok, and my Instagram. I'll link everything down below. Go check out those services. All the prices are there. If you work on a different money currency, if you're not from South Africa, then just inbox me or something. I will convert the prices for you into whatever currency you're working with. So definitely go check it out, you know, especially during the holidays. I also have Christmas sales currently running on all of my services. It's 50% off currently for all of my services, including the tarot readings, and also for the tarot readings, but only for the tarot readings, I have an extra little bonus that I decided to do. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also go to my Facebook page and leave me a review based on what you think about my YouTube content and my Facebook page, you know, all of my content on my medias as a whole. Just give me a nice honest review over there. Screenshot your subscription and your review. Just DM me those screenshots, and then you have one free tarot reading. All you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel, go give me a review on my Facebook page, screenshot both of those actions, DM me those screenshots, and you have one free reading of your choice. So yeah, that is currently a little promo I'm doing for the launch of all of my services, but that's only on the tarot readings, but everything else is 50% off, and the readings are also 50% off if you want more than one reading, because the promo is only accountable for one reading, because you can only subscribe to my channel once, and you can only give me a review once. So you can only get one free reading. If you want a second reading, or if you want to buy a reading for someone you love, you can make a booking. It's 50% off currently. So yeah, and go check out the other services. I did list a little bit more info on my other media, so you can go read a little bit about what I offer. If you have any questions, you're also free to DM me. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is all I'm going to be talking about in today's video. If you have any questions, you know, put that down in the comment section. If you guys want me to make like a part 2, which would be like a Q&A style video where you guys ask me questions about this, where I answer them like in a video, then, you know, just let me know down in the comments. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, or if you found some insight in this video. It'll just mean the world to me if you guys can give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you haven't already, please. It'll just mean the world to me. Currently we're just trying to grow our beautiful family so that we can just do more on the channel. The bigger we grow, the more we can do, and together we can make a difference, and we can help each other to reach our goals and our dreams. And this channel exists to give you guys guidance, support, help, and just a platform where you can be yourself, a platform where we don't always follow the trend, a platform where we grow ourselves to be better people each day, a platform where we are all just connected, and where we accept each other and encourage each other and support each other regardless of our beliefs. So definitely subscribe to this beautiful growing family, because I have a lot of great ideas coming soon. So if you don't want to miss out on any of my content, then hit that subscribe button. I have some content that, trust me, you don't want to miss out. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. As usually, you can find all of the links down in the description. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!